Okay, so we've got James Smith here from the Fitness Experts and Elite Bodyworks, and we've got some questions for him. So first of all, tell us a bit about your story. Who are you, what do you do, and how did you get to where you are now?
Okay, so I used to work at a college gym. So from college, I started doing my level 1, level 2 fitness instructor. Didn't really enjoy it initially. My second year tutor, however, was a world-class powerlifter, so taught us some extra-curricular activities. Got my interest levels a little bit higher. Started working in the college gym over at Queen Mary's. That's how I met Ben as well, actually, and started doing a little bit of personal training there. Then went up to London to Gym Box for a couple of months. Started doing some personal training there, whilst also starting to work down here at the Fitness Experts. Started getting busier and busier here. Hated getting the train to London, so knocked that on the head, and the rest is history, I suppose.
Cool. Tell us an interesting fact about yourself that not many people know.
So goals for this year, I'm trying to qualify for England's Strongest Man under 90 kilos. I was also trying to turn professional at golf this year as another little hobby, but that might have to wait. I've decided that I can't focus on both, so that will maybe have to wait for a couple of years' time.
Strongman over golf then?
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Okay. Describe your style of boot camps and training. What people expect from one of your boot camps and one of your personal training sessions?
Boot camp, I prefer strongman type equipment in a fat loss sort of style, so the prowlers, the ropes, sleds, all that sort of stuff. It's the sort of style that I was first introduced, that I enjoyed in a circuit sort of fashion, so try to involve those where I can. Not so keen on doing lots of body weight exercises as much, so burpees and press ups and stuff like that won't be involved as much necessarily. In terms of personal training, it's very varied depending on the client themselves, but my passion is getting someone as lean, as strong, as muscular as possible, really. So it's whatever format fits that best.
And what sort of personal training clients do you see? What are their goals? What are their backgrounds?
I've got quite a varied group. I see people from middle-aged housewives through to people that want to compete. I've trained people for martial arts, American football, golf, strongman, Olympic lifting. So it really doesn't matter who the client is, as long as they've got a goal and that they are willing to work hard towards it, I suppose is the main thing for me.
Okay, and what's your number 1 tip to people new to exercise, whether they're doing boot camps or doing personal training? What number 1 tip would you give them in terms of exercise, in terms of nutrition?
Really the most important thing initially for anyone trying to change their lifestyle is to ingrain habits. So I always try and get people to do things quite slowly, 1, 2, 3 things per week perhaps. Try not to overhaul everything initially. It proves too difficult for most people. So we'll set a water goal, we'll set a protein goal, increased intake of vegetables, things that are pretty basic to start, rather than trying to make things too rigid and too inflexible. Trying to build a sort of positive reinforcement each week that the things that they're doing are working, that they're able to do it, and then that makes it easier to change more things each week for longer, rather than trying to change too much and becoming too difficult initially. Okay.
What's the most common mistake you see people making when they start exercising, they start getting into exercise?
Setting their goals, their sights too high, you know, wanting to lose 10 pounds a week for the next year. You know, people tend to try to do things too quickly. So going back to that previous point, really, I think trying to say that you'll go to the gym 3 times as opposed to 5 and building up is more important than trying to go 5 times and then only making 2. Trying to, like we said, trying to hit a few small goals per week is more important than trying to change everything all at once. I think that's the most important thing that people can do initially.
Okay, and so looking at some more specific questions about you, today, what's your training going to look like and what's your food going to look like? What are you going to have for breakfast, lunch and dinner?
Okay, so I trained this morning at 5:45 AM. So I was up at 5, I had a ribeye steak and a handful of macadamias before I trained, had a post-workout shake. The rest of the day, I know I've got some lemon sole that I need to eat, I know I've got another steak that I need to eat. I'm training again at 8 this evening, so I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 more solid meals today. Plenty of vegetables, training twice today, so definitely some starchy carbs, a couple of servings of rice. Already had some oats this morning, plus as much vegetables as I can try and feasibly fit in.
Okay, and so a couple of questions from the members for you now. So Michael has asked the question, can you eat too many eggs?
Can you eat too many eggs? Yes, you can eat too much of anything. Interestingly, we'll see quite a lot of people that pick up sensitivities to eggs. It tends to be quite common. Because it's something that's easy to eat at breakfast, people will tend to stick to that and eat it all the time. So rotating food sources is important. The only way you're truly going to know, as opposed to perhaps getting a little bit of bloating or a little bit of gas, is to get a food sensitivity test done. But the simple thing you could do is rotate normal eggs, duck eggs, and then perhaps just try not to eat them every day. But unfortunately, broccoli is healthy, but if you eat 20 trees of broccoli a day, then eventually it's going to become a problem, so too much of anything, unfortunately, is probably going to be a bad thing. Okay,
and Nigel's asked the question, what's the main supplement you would recommend to clients and why? Because there's a lot of supplements out there, and there's lots of confusion out there, so what would be the sort of the one thing that I should take?
We only really, as a bit of a caveat, we only really recommend supplements once everyone's training and nutrition is in place first. People are always looking for sort of a magic bullet, but nutrition is the most important thing really. So once that's in line, I mean, depending on their goals, most people are going to need more omega-3, so fish oils, depending on their profiles that we take when we do their body fat and their biosignature. It might be something more specific to do with improving their sleep quality, so maybe some magnesium, things that are basic initially, a multivitamin, zinc, something to help their digestion. It could be one of a few of those. Vitamin D actually is another thing that's very important in this country. So there's 6 that I've just listed, and unfortunately there's never a clear-cut case for one. It might be just cycling a few of those initially, bringing their levels up, and then becoming a little bit more specific after that potentially.
Okay, and then final question is, how can people find out more about what you do? How do we get in contact with you? Where do we go?
Okay, so on Facebook, Elite-Bodyworks, or our website, www.elite-bodyworks.com.
Cool, thanks James.
Thanks.